You know, y'all boyfriend and y'all get pregnant, why do y'all tell on yourselves? Just let your boyfriend be the baby daddy.
When you see enough of this, it makes you think that bitches ain't the man still wants to sign even though he knows that that baby is not biologically his. Then that's on you, stupid. You knew all the information and you made an informed decision to be a dumbass.
I knew that men were stupid when they started advocating for mandatory DNA tests at birth. These are the same men who think that the government is lying about the earth being flat, that the government lies about the census, and that the government faked the moon operation. They will give the government full authority over their DNA to keep in a database forever and do whatever they want with it. But as long as it meant that women couldn't make them pay $150 a month in child support, it's a win, right? The intelligent gender, everybody.
We're gonna do all these leaps and bounds to make DNA testing at birth a bad thing. Men are just so dumb because they want to know if that baby is theirs. These broads are just so insane. Rather than holding women accountable for lying about who the baby's father is or for sleeping with so many men during that period of time that she doesn't know who the baby's father is, rather than holding them accountable, no, it's men are stupid. You want the government to have your DNA? Guess what? The government, if they want your DNA, they can get your DNA. It's so easy for them to get your DNA. If they really want it, they can get it. They don't need to have all of this to get your DNA. If they want your DNA, they will already have it. Y'all will say anything to defend promiscuous broads and then try to reduce it down to $150. A lot of men are not paying $150 for their damn child support. Stop trying to reduce this down to justify your dysfunction, to justify the fact that y'all spread eagle to so many men that you have no idea who the pappy is. Stop putting on the cape for broads that behave this way. And I side-eye any woman or any man that does that because it's like, are you the type that would do that? Lie to someone for 18 years telling them that's their child? And because anyone with a moral compass is going to see an issue with that and would want to advocate for something that allows people to be sure, that allows a mother and a father to be sure who's who. So I'm side-eyeing you. And if you have kids, they fathers need to run and get that DNA test as fast as possible, okay? Quick and in a hurry.
Do you want to hear something crazy that I did not know until after I became an attorney? Had no idea this is the way it worked before I went to law school. And I don't think many people do. You can have a genetic test that shows that you are not the biological father, and the court can still find you or adjudicate you as being the legal father. Even if you go in there waving that test around and saying, nope, I'm not the legal father because I have this test that shows I'm not the biological father, in many instances, it doesn't matter. Hey, my name is Courtney Driscoll. I'm a family law attorney practicing here in Oklahoma. This was one of the most shocking things to me when I became an attorney, is that being a father doesn't just mean that you are the biological father of a child. Let's say that you've been living with a child for 8 years, holding them out as being your child, calling yourself dad, referring to them as your child. Then you take a genetic test, find out that you are in fact not the biological father. If you go to court and they have already adjudicated you as the legal father, or they're in the process of doing so, they may still adjudicate you as the legal father even with that genetic test. Or in some cases, we have a case where there's two potential fathers and we have a genetic test showing that one person is the biological father, but the other person, the one that's been involved in the child's life, the child's been living with that man, he's been holding him out as his child, and for all intents and purposes, he's been acting as if he is his dad. He's the person that gets adjudicated as the legal father, even though this other person shows up with the genetic test and says, no, it's me. These are some of the craziest cases that we deal with as attorneys, but that's a huge reason why, no, there's not mandatory testing, because whether or not someone is the legal father is not only dependent upon whether or not they are the biological father.
That's a failing on the judicial system. That's a failing on family court. What you mean? That baby ain't come from my ball sack. That baby did not come from me. I feel like this is done on purpose. Let me get ready. I'm gonna say it so you guys don't have to. The reason why is because women are the biggest spenders. Okay, women, we go through money like water flows through your hand. Women cannot hold on to $1 to save their life. Now, there might be some women that can. As a majority, we are the consumers. Look at overconsumption on TikTok. This is how we behave, okay? We like to spend. And that's why a lot of these courts are in cahoots with a lot of these businesses. See, everything is connected. They know that women are the biggest spenders. So if they remove the finances from the man, give them to the woman, she's going to spend it. She's not going to hoard it. She's not going to build generational wealth with it. She's going to take that money and it's going to go through her hand like water. That's why whenever you think about like divorce court or things like that, it's very rare that the woman is the one taken to to the cleaners. More times than not, they're trying to get the money from the man to the woman because they know she's going to spend it with these big corporations. So the whole situation is fraudulent just from the jump. Legal doesn't necessarily mean right. And it is insane to me that someone could dupe you into thinking that that is your child, and rather than them facing the repercussions of it, no, you got to hold the bag because you were a stand-up man, because you wanted to stand up and take care of a child that you thought was yours and do the right thing. This is why they have that saying, you live long enough to see yourself yourself turn into a villain. What's the phrase? So this is the quote, okay? Because I was about to jack it all the way up. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, okay? Dark Knight. Shout out to the Dark Knight. This is why a lot of people, they end up having that mentality because it's like good people lose. In order to get ahead in life, a lot of the times you got to be shiesty. And that's the part that sucks. People who have terrible moral character tend to succeed in this corrupt ass world. Like the quote says, you either die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain. Because when you see stuff like this, it makes you cynical. It makes you want to go out and just be a deviant so you can get ahead just like the rest of the deviants. But it's like you try to hold out as long as you can to be the best person that you can be, to, you know, have a moral code and stick by it, to have principles and stick by them. And it becomes very difficult when you see people with no moral code, no principles. They just do whatever they can to get to the top, and they actually do get to the top. So these broads that are lying to these men and putting babies on them that aren't theirs, they're getting ahead because they're still going to get a check. They're still going to garnish the wage. They're still going to get all the benefits of being an evil, disgusting, nasty little broad. My heart really truly goes out to all of the people that are affected by these different things because this is insane. The laws within family court need to be addressed and changed.
You know, y'all boyfriend and y'all get pregnant. Why do y'all telling yourselves? Just let your boyfriend be the baby daddy.
I'm going to assume this is a troll, right? But I'm kind of serious what I'm about to say. Get a DNA test in front of that woman. We need to start having the conversation of how would you feel if you knew I got a DNA test on our baby, and see how that conversation goes. Because I just saw John make a video and he was like, women were getting upset. Where'd you get upset that I want to make sure this baby is mine? Now wait, before you be like, oh my God, the audacity, that's so rude. Don't y'all be saying it's all men until no men? Don't women out here be getting pregnant by other men that's not the one that's supposed to be the baby daddy? Don't y'all move with the logic of I have to protect myself because of what other men do, so you put that onto the man that you're dating who's never hurt you? But it's an issue when I move with that same logic that you move with. What are you going to say? Who's going to be the men now? Where are all the boys at? Well, this is what smart men do. This is what smart boys do, because the boys in the past were out here getting finesse, taking care of kids that weren't theirs. Now what?
That brother cooked. Okay, he cooked. He sauteed this heifer. He sauteed all the heifers. Okay, all the heifers that are out here saying you should just put a baby on a man, you shouldn't worry about DNA testing, all this other stuff. This heifer right here, that's a sicko. Why in the hell would you want to do that? It's absolutely evil. No moral compass. That's why I say, men, be very careful who you sleep with. Just like I tell the women, be very careful who you sleep with, because you really want to be shacked up with this broad? Let me see if I can find the original video, because this is insane. What's her name? Diamond Monet? As soon as you got something like Diamond, Porsche, all this in your name, I already know what's up.
Y'all be cheating on y'all boyfriend and y'all get pregnant. Why do y'all telling yourselves? Just let your boyfriend be the baby daddy. Just let it be what it is. You don't have to tell him nothing. And when he gets to question you, gaslight him. Like, so you really think this not your baby? And if you have to, even threaten him. Say, if we gotta do a DNA test, my baby not getting your last name. Dudes love for their kids have their last name. Like, they take so much pride in it. They act like it's the most important thing in the world. But telling on yourself is a no. And I know some people are like, oh, well, your child deserves to know who their biological parent is. Do what's best for your child. Some people don't have a daddy in their life at all, and it's their real daddy. It's about the man who stepped up to be daddy. Being a dad is way more than being blood related. But y'all don't want to listen. Y'all just want to get on here crying on the internet because y'all chose the wrong baby daddy. Y'all want to talk about how this dude a deadbeat, but he was never in a relationship with you anyway. So did you really think that he cared about you? You really think that he would care about a child that came out of you? Look, y'all ain't got to take my advice, but ask yourself, would he be honest with you? If he went and made another baby with somebody else, would he tell you? Or he gonna let you find out on your own?
then why are you with these people that you can't trust? Like, this whole argument falls apart. Like, why are you even in the relationship with this person if you can't trust them? And not only that, you're talking about, oh, well, you want him to step up and be a good dad and all this stuff. If he's the type that's gonna lie to you about having a baby with another woman, then why would he be a good father figure for your children? So this whole argument just completely falls apart. These bird brain heifers right here, they make people cynical. When you see enough of this, it makes you think that bitches ain't shit. The last thing you want to do is lay up with a heifer like this. She done laid up with other men, and now you getting a baby put on you that ain't yours. Talking about gaslight him? I wonder, is her daddy in her life? Is the man that is claiming to be her daddy her real daddy? Because you have to be born out of dysfunction, okay? You have to be an absolutely dysfunctional individual to think that this is okay, to think that it is okay to lie to somebody. When someone says, don't you want your child to know who their father is? Oh, well, you need to do what's best for the best thing for the child is to know who the damn daddy is. And from there, you could find somebody that will step up and fill those shoes. But why would they want to do that if you're like this? If you're this type of individual, why the hell would somebody want to step up for your kids? Because there are men that do. There are couples that make it work where they have a blended family and it works out perfectly for them. So I'm not going to sit over here and just demonize every single situation where a man steps up for children that are not his. I'm not going to demonize all of them. I will say that you have to be very careful, because the last thing you want to do is step up for a broad like this. When you see a lot of this, of course there are going to be men that don't want to step up to the plate because they're like, these heifers out here are crazy. I wish folks would get a grip. You lying to these people about a baby, like, wouldn't you want to know that baby is yours? Like, if you had a situation where your child was swapped out, okay, you gave birth to that baby and that baby was swapped at birth, and you find out that that baby ain't really yours, you're going to tell me that you wouldn't be longing for the baby that actually came from your womb? It's like these broads have no empathy. They have no empathy for others. Bunch of sociopaths walking around.
I'm very confused about all the anger about child support payments. I am seeing a lot of this, that there should be mandatory DNA testing, but what I don't understand is a father cannot be denied a paternity test by the courts to establish child support. So all a man has to do is request a paternity test. The courts cannot deny it. So why would you then want the government to have more power and be in control and mandate everyone needing a DNA test where all you simply have to do is request one from the court? Like, I'm so confused at what the problem is. If a woman is saying, you are the father of my child and I want you to pay child support, and you are saying, no, I'm not, bring me to court, you then go to court and then you say, I want a paternity test, and the court says yes. I mean, I don't necessarily think it would be the worst thing in the world if it was mandatory, but what I'm not understanding is there's nothing that's stopping you from getting a paternity test. So I don't really know where the anger is coming from or what the problem really is, if there is a solution to the problem, which is to request a paternity test from the court.
And just like we saw from the lawyer, right, from the lawyer earlier, it doesn't matter. Once you've established a father-like pattern, then guess what? They can still put you on child support even if you find out that that baby is not yours. So that's the reason why. If you're able to establish paternity before you're out there playing pappy to this baby that ain't yours, you're in a better situation where you're most likely not going to have to pay child support for a baby that's not yours. That's why a lot of people are upset. That's why people want it to be mandatory, because by the time you done played pappy for this many months or this many years, then she can claim, well, you've been behaving like the father, and they can still put you on child support for that baby that isn't yours. And the broad that lied, the broad that was sleeping with other people, didn't tell you, she gets to walk away scot-free knowing that she's going to be dipping into your pockets for the next 18 years. Maybe she doesn't know this. Maybe she doesn't know this, but I mean, if you're looking into it enough to see that if you ask for a paternity test, you'll get one, then why didn't you dig a little further to find out the cases where a man is not the father and still has to pay child support?
I'll do you one better. I believe that DNA testing should be done at birth. Now I know women, calm down. Ladies, calm down before you get to click for a few things, right? He can't turn around and be like, I don't know if that's my baby. I don't know if that's my baby. I don't know if that's my baby. That takes that off. I think it should be mandatory because there's this stigma attached to, oh, if someone wants to get their child tested for whatever reason, if they think that their partner, their wife, or whatever their situationship wasn't being honest with them, then it will alleviate that. And if you make it mandatory, there's no question, right? There's literally no question. He can't turn around and be like, oh, that's not my baby. And I've seen the stories of where men end up paying child support and the child isn't even theirs, right? So it would just cut all that mess out. Because even when at one point when we couldn't see eye to eye, you know what? Somebody else gonna figure it out, because I'm not gonna keep going back and forth with you. It will alleviate so much arguments. He can never turn around to you, ladies, and be like, "That I don't even know if that's my baby." The DNA test from birth. Did they not swab you? Did they not swab the baby? Okay, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. And that way, when it's time to go to court, there's nothing to prove. It's been proven. It's been taken care of. So honestly, I believe it should be from birth. Married or not. I think DNA testing should be mandatory.
I agree with her. I've said this before. I don't care if you married, situationship, polyamory. I don't give a damn. Every baby need to be tested to make sure that that pappy is the pappy before you sign the certificate. The man still wants to sign even though he knows that that baby is not biologically his. Then that's on you, stupid. Okay, that is on you. That's not on the rest of us. You made that choice. You knew all the information and you made an informed decision to be a dumbass. Test that baby at the start. Before you even got the opportunity to sign the birth certificate, you should be required to see a DNA test to make sure that that baby is yours so that you make an informed decision of whether or not you want to sign that paperwork. And I agree. Same thing with the ladies. We should want to know. We should want to make sure that he knows, because if you already know you weren't sleeping around, unless you've been in a bunch, then you know who the father is of your child. If you have been keeping it playing with this man, you haven't been sleeping around, you know he's the father and he's playing in your face. First of all, a man that would play in your face like that, why are you sleeping with him and giving him a baby? But if I'm looking past that, at least with the DNA test right at birth, he can't play those games with you. That's your baby. Okay, so it's good for people all around. It's good for people that want truth. It's good for people that live on principle. It's good for people that are worth a damn. The people who are scammers, they're the ones who are upset with this. I'm not pointing at the sister because obviously we agree. Me and sis, we right here, we agree. I'm talking about the people that do disagree with this. I don't know why I pointed at her. She agreed with me. We agree with each other. Her silk press is on point. The only people who are upset about this whole mandatory testing are the people who want to scam, the people who want to run game on their partner, the evil creatures of society. But I am curious to hear you guys' thoughts down below. How do you feel about mandatory DNA testing? Do you agree with these broads where it's like, or do you agree with the rest of us, sane, logical, not scammers, where it's like, test that baby so that we're all on the same page, so that if you are the father, you know you're the father. You can have that peace of mind. And if you take it a step further, do you agree with me and the good sis? DNA test at birth. I am curious to hear you guys' thoughts down below. If you like the content, like the content. The more you interact with it, the more it gets pushed out into the algorithm. Also, hype the video. I have that function now. If you're feeling a little extra generous, the link is in the description to buy your girl a coffee. Thank you guys so much, and I will see y'all with the next one. Deuces.